Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Steve with Sensus Fidelium coming at you on this, the 2nd of February, 2026. Man, 2026 is almost over. January is already come and gone. Happy feast of the Purification. Candlemas for everyone. Hope you got some candles. I don't know if we've had mass in the last 2 weeks here in North Carolina. We've had snowstorms every weekend. It's still a foot of snow outside right now. That's why I put the background behind. If you see, I'll get rid of me. Well, I can't even get rid of me on that. Put some iguanas up. That's just a little foreshadow about the couple of stories we had one time coming on. Anyways, yes, on time, kind of. I was trying to start probably 45 minutes ago and I couldn't do it. Anyway, let's get right to it. How was y'all's weekend? Anybody, anything exciting? We had a blizzard. If you saw any of the reports from, I got some video from the end of the show on the weather here, but Nags Head, North Carolina, you would have thought a hurricane came through. I mean, it was nuts. We had blizzard-like conditions here, trees going nuts all over the place. You didn't go outside. You went outside. You just got punched in the face by the wind. You went, all right, turn back around like that Simpsons thing. Come back inside. This idiot decided to scrape off the cars with a shovel. That wasn't the dumb part. Maybe it is, but maybe that wasn't. And I was too lazy. Yes, I get up, I go work out and do all kinds of things and do hours and hours and hours of video and editing and things like that. But I was too lazy to put boots on or shoes. So I went out in my flip-flops in a foot of snow. Maybe that was just some added penance. I don't know. I don't know if dumb actions equal penance, but I decided to do that. Yes, my feet hurt for about 10 minutes afterwards, but had to get that done before it froze over. It was 0 degrees here yesterday. Florida, I think, was. I keep seeing all the things. Florida was colder in Iceland and Juneau, Alaska, or Tampa area or something like that. So yeah, it's been global warming, by the way. Funny, a couple weeks ago, about a month ago now, local news, our winters are just getting warmer, even though they post a video of what temp was like 60 something, 70 that day. And the record was in 1920. So yeah, the global warming, you know what. Anyway, let's get right to it. Box office. If you're in, apparently we were the only ones that got snow. I think everyone else, it was just on us. It was just, if you looked at it, it was just targeted for termination. Us. Box office, Melania heads for $8 million opening, the best showing in a decade for a documentary. As they shortened, I guess they had a limit for text. Who knows if if the entire family just bought $8 million worth of tickets just to get that up there. I don't know. I've saw photos where no one was in the place, so I don't know how that happened. Melania Trump's new Amazon MGM documentary, the most expensive in history, is even beating out Jonathan Statham's new action for the third place finish behind Send Help and Iron Lung. In all due respect to Jason Statham, you can watch one Jason Statham movie and you've seen them all. It's the same thing, probably the same lines, maybe a couple things edited. It's the same idea. It's not like it's not like you're going to see Statham going undercover as MI6 or something like that in a way that it's going to be mind thinking. It's more of a beat 'em up, shoot 'em up show. That's really it. After galvanizing conservative females and earning an A cinema score, must be a low bar. About 2 in Minnesota, tropical. And you know what? I would have taken 2 yesterday. 2 would have been an improvement. I remember flying in. I never stayed more than 30 seconds at an airport in Minnesota. Flew into Minneapolis, St. Paul. When did I do that? Oh yeah, it was when my brother was still a seminary. I went to visit them for a couple of days or a week. I hung out at the seminary for a week, I think it was, yeah. And flew in through Minneapolis, and I just remember looking out the window. Goes the frozen tundra of Minnesota, and now we're the frozen tundra of North Kakalaki. Here's Once the Future King, President DJT. Wendy Patterson, breaking news. President Trump is going to sign a bill that funds abortion, DEI, and trans hospitals, plus billions and billions in earmarks going against his campaign promise to end DEI and trans surgeries. I have no idea where the info for that is at. Not shocking. That wouldn't be shocking because that's what Trump said here. I am working hard with Speaker Johansson to get the federal funding deal, which passed in the Senate last week, through the House and to my desk, where I will sign it into law. I don't care what it says on there. I will sign it, doggone it, immediately. We need to get the government open because your lives are much better when the government is closed. I promise you. And I hope all Republicans and Democrats will join me in supporting this bill and send it to my desk without delay. There can be no changes at this time. We will work together in good faith to address the issues that have been raised, but we cannot have long, pointless, and destructive shutdown. It doesn't destruct anybody. It's not destructive to anybody outside of government. That will hurt our country so badly. One that will not benefit Republicans and Democrats. I hope everyone will vote yes. That thing's going to have more pork than a butcher shop. It's going to be so bad. I guarantee things are going to go over there. Probably $500 million going to Israel. What else? There's probably going to be money going to Ukraine. And, well, someone else has got to check out the pork. Apparently, everyone can read 3 million pages of notes this day and age in a matter of days. So it should be able to read that pork. That's probably what about a 6,000 page book. Bill, 6,000 page book. Everyone got to read 3 million pages of the Epstein files, apparently. So what's 6,000 page bill? We'll have that knocked up. That's easy reading. That's evening reading. Come on. I wonder if she does have any links on this. No idea. Grok, give me a summary of what the funding bill is about. Let's see. The FY26 Labor, Health, and Human Services Appropriations Act provides $221 billion for health, education, and labor programs. It maintains the Hyde Amendment prohibiting federal funding of abortions, eliminates programs like CDC, social determinants of health, no explicit funding for DEI or transgender care specified. But some critics argue earmarks indirectly support related initiatives. It boosts biomedical research. Rural health and job training align with priorities to reduce bureaucracy. There ain't nothing coming out that's going to reduce bureaucracy anywhere. Thanks AI. Thanks Elon AI. We'll learn more about as Pelosi once said. We got to pass the bill. We got to pass the bill to find out what's in it. Yes, I'm going to have this cough till I die. I don't know what's going on. Israeli Prime Minister and war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu will visit Washington District of Criminals to meet with once and future King President DJT next month. Man, that one sentence got a ton of my lines in that thing. Yes, the boss is coming back just to check it out. Now that was next month, so it means February sometime. So he's coming in to check on everything and hang out and give marching orders, things like that. You know what I mean? Let's see. Here's a partial government shutdown expected to last until Tuesday. Man, why can't it be like, 10 Tuesdays, 50 Tuesdays, the second Tuesday of next year, something like that. Actually the second Tuesday next week, but then they didn't have a burger to give. So this is the We Are Iowa Local 5 saying it's expected to last until tomorrow. Womp womp. House committees expect to look at a spending bill Monday. Lawmakers have yet to reach a conclusion regarding funding for the Department of Homeland Security. The unconstitutional Department of Homeland Security, that thing that we don't need, but we have, and that's where ICE comes from. Because if you like ICE now, everyone's got to be on this team. Hey, we're Team ICE. Woo! We now like the Department of we now like the Department of Homeland Security. We like and everything that comes out of it, including ICE and the Patriot Act, apparently. But anyways, you got to have principles. Get rid of it all. And when I say all, it's kind of like that one line. Which one would you like to get rid of? Department of? Yes. Department. Yep. Department. Anything. Just go ahead and say it. I'm for getting rid of it all. Want to cut the fat? I'll cut that 400 pounder and a 180 to 150 pound weakling, maybe 130. Let's go to 110. Here's James Carville is asked, how can you be a Democrat and a Catholic? He answers, how can you be a Republican and a Catholic? I'll answer, how can you be both? It's two-party illusion. Just get out of that. What? I mean, Raymond. Just because you're friends with Laura. And then Carl. I mean, he's just two-party illusion. You should know that by now. If you don't know that by now, I don't know how to help you really. He just keeps doing things like this until people go, yeah, he's right. It's the same darn team. Nothing ever changes. Every time I vote, it's the same thing. I vote no matter who I vote for John McCain. It's all that. It's the same blasted thing. I haven't heard this yet. Let me check out what Dr. Harrelson has to say. I'm probably going to say I'm going to agree with it. But it'll be news for me too. I haven't listened to it. I'm totally against white nationalism and Christian nationalism, 100%. So let's see.
Some people are trying to peg me as a white nationalist. I don't like that. I do think that the American South is a wonderful, wonderful place. It's my home.
That doesn't make anybody a white nationalist. By the way, most people in the South, it was a mixed breed, black and white. Up north, you weren't. It was illegal to be black in Illinois. You couldn't be it. You couldn't go into it. Even now, it's segregated. But hey, it goes into another thing. I listened to a Brian McClanahan podcast from 5 years ago, and it mentioned how every group in the history of the world had slaves. Even people you quote, Aristotle, just people that you listen to, you never hear somebody call out U.S. Grant for having slaves. You never call out Lincoln. His wife owned a ton. But it's just the South. The South is the most villainous people in the history of the world. But everybody had slaves for 100. How long has the world been around? Was 6,000 years? Was it 4,000 years before Christ? And then the 2,000 after, 6,000 years, probably 5,000 of it had slaves, but the South is the only ones that are vilified. I wonder why.
I believe the Confederacy had a legitimate reason to exist, and I've been accused of being a white supremacist because I believe that. Well, I'm not, and I'm certainly not a white nationalist. I'm a Catholic, and I'm a Christian. The Catholic Church condemns anything like this. And why is it that so many Catholic people are promoting it, particularly in the United States?
Tea party politics?
I don't understand it. Several people have told me over the past 2 or 3 months that Western civilization is white people. And if we allow too many immigrants to come into Europe and the United States that are not white, then we're somehow going to lose our culture. I had one fellow told me the other day, he said, I'm opposed to Christian nationalism too. He said, well, we need to be an all-white, all-Christian country. And if you're not Christian, you're able to visit here, but you can't stay. Now, just wait a daggone minute. Western civilization used to be called Christendom. And Christendom, begins with Jesus. Jesus wasn't no Western European white dude. He was a Middle Eastern Jew. And so have we reached a point where, well, we've long since reached a point where the internet is just full of stupid people. But in the real world, is this the way people genuinely think? I don't have a problem with anybody who's not white. I have a problem with idiots. I don't care what color you are. But I do care if you're an idiot.
It's kind of like a Die Hard. I care about you going to get me killed.
I had a student years ago. He went to, I taught him high school. He went to Hampton-Sydney College in Virginia and studied the classics. And he got into an argument with a black man on campus there. And the black man said, well, you just don't like me because I'm black. And this particular gentleman said, no, I don't like you because you're stupid. I think that
might be a good response for a lot of people these days. I just don't like you because you're an idiot. Yeah, it makes it a little bit simpler to go with. Who's the guy? Genovese. You heard me. We did a show and we brought up Genovese last Friday. Genovese was a communist that became Catholic. Why? And a pro-Southerner. Why? Because he saw that the same things that the communists did were exactly what they were doing in the North. They're not the hyper-capitalism thing, but that's what they were. The Southerners used to say they were going to fight against atheistic people, atheistic Puritans, and their God was greed. Genovese was a communist, saw that the Catholic Church was right, became a Catholic, and saw that the same things that the communists were pushing were exactly what they were pushing in the new Puritan empire. Shocking, isn't it? Trump, in an escalation, calls for Republicans to nationalize elections. The comments made on a conservative podcast follow a string of moves from his administration to try to exert more control over American elections. Nobody should want this. I had an argument back in the rundown days, first year one. You can look it up. It's still on the YouTube channel. It was Tennessee. It was Tennessee. It was Georgia. Was it Tennessee? It was Pennsylvania, and was it Georgia? I think it was. They were talking about people were trying during that. It was 2020, I guess, years. They were trying to fix up their election. They wanted to do it. Oh, I don't have the thing on. I'm sorry. Still have Dr. H on. And I knew some people, not throwing shade at Dr. Marshall, but but everyone's a centralist. And he was wanting to make it all universal. He was in that argument because he's in the Trump camp. And I told him, no, that's wrong. Here's why. Every state is in control of the elections. Every state has that authority. It doesn't matter how you like what Pennsylvania does, West Virginia, California, Georgia, whatever. That is that state's right. Whatever that state wants to do, go for it. That's what that state does. You do not want nationalized elections. That is completely the wrong thing. They have no power to do that one, but that is definitely, you do not want to nationalize everything. You want to denationalize everything. You want to get away from all that. They don't have that power to do that. Once they get that power, game over. You're not going to be able to do anything. And this is all about votes. It's all about trying to get things into that. Control the election, control the selections. Oh, you didn't vote right? Well, you're going to vote right now. You're going to keep going until you voted correctly. But no, you do not want, and you know anybody that says, hey, we're for nationalized elections, they're only for that because of their fake team right is pushing it. Their leader on this. If the fake left was doing it, they'd be against it. It's that whole idea, the Calhounian dilemma that McClanahan brings up. When the other team's in power, the other team that's not in power ought to somehow magically finds the Constitution and states' rights all over again. It's when they get in power, they jettison all that stuff. And that's when Trump's a centralist, old school Democrat, in the not Southern Democrat, early 1900s, which was a progressive style, which both teams are progressives. Progressives equals communism. Progressivism was a rebranding of what communism was. We just eat it up. It's hard to talk to somebody. I could talk to it's easier to talk to a Protestant about becoming Catholic than talk to about any Catholic or any Protestant, anybody that's brought up in the two-party illusion. That is a hard thing to get out of people's heads. Here's Justin Amash talking about this because Aaron Rupert's going, Trump, these people were brought in our country to vote and they vote illegally. The Republicans should say we should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. We have states that I won that I didn't win. You're going to see something in Georgia. He's still talking about 2020. And 2020 was here. Talk about a false flag. Everyone's still focused on that just so that they could bring in nationalized elections now. Here's Justin Amash. Republicans should not, in fact, nationalize the voting, shouldn't nationalize anything. If you were worried about election integrity before, which it's already bad enough, this would make things infinitely worse. Amen to that. Decentralized elections are one of the greatest protections against large-scale fraud and abuse. Decentralized everything is the way to do it. That's the problem. Everything got nationalized. You want to fix, if someone comes up to you, we need to fix the country. How are you going to do it? We need to vote harder? No, you need to decentralize everything. Start day, whatever you know. Trump should be saying no to most of the things. Again, his job is to win a, because like he said earlier, I will sign that thing into law right off the bat. That's not how it works. It's supposed to be, is this constitutional? Yes or no? Yes, you signed it. No, you don't sign it. You veto it. Hence why the Confederate Constitution saw these problems, because Trump, the current president, can't go line item veto. There's a line item veto in the Confederate Constitution. So House and Senate got something together, put it on the president's desk. The president could go line item. Nope. No. Was it perfect? No, there's no angel, there's no saint that usually becomes president. But it's a lot better than what you got right now. Now you get this pork bill that's 800 billion, 900 trillion, Gazooka billion. What is numbers? Infinite million. And no one reads the blasted thing. And we say, winning. $78 million to study gerbils, trans surgeries or something like that. Yeah. Again, when do we call it quits? Let's get back to my boy, Dr. H. My main man. It's kind of like Mars and Michael Jordan. My main man, Mars.
I love being a contrarian. And I love being confident in being a contrarian. It seems to me that most of the problem with American politics, American culture, the culture wars, so forth and so on, is that people are trying to get along with people that will never get along with you.
Amen.
You know, I am a strong advocate of Southern secession myself. And I have been of the opinion for 20 or more years that the South is simply an occupied territory, being because there was an attempt in the 1860s to gain independence from the federal union. Mm-hmm. The union is not sacrosanct. It's not holy. And people who are trying to make the country all one thing or all something else, you're wasting your time.
That right there, what he's talking about, all one thing or all the other thing, that's the nationalism idea. You get two teams playing a soft civil war every 40 years, fighting it out. And it's one team, this versus this team. And if this team wins, they're going to go blankets thing across the board. We're going to make everything the same thing. That's what he's talking about right there.
South Carolina is not Massachusetts. Kentucky is not Oregon. Uh-huh. They're never going to be the exact same thing. Amen. You got two choices to make America great again, and it sure as hell ain't Donald Trump. You got two choices: federalism or secession. That's it. You think I'm nuts? I'm telling you, that's the only option you got. You either
sound familiar?
Go back to federalism, which is the core of the United States Constitution. If you don't know what federalism is, well, I'll explain it to you sometime. Or you have a secession movement where regions who have things in common with one another break apart into separate confederacies.
Yep. Peace.
Many of you going to look at that term confederacy and think 1860s. I'm not talking about the 1860s. I'm talking about what's best for the people of America now. America and the Union are not one and the same thing. The Confederate States of America was just as much American as anything that the United States ever produced. You got to get that right. You're fooling yourself if you're thinking that we're at war. We've got to win against those people who don't agree with us. We need control of the national apparatus, the federal government. No, you don't. You need local control. You need to have local power, and to hell with the federal government. Federal government has shirked its powers. It's shirked its task. It's usurped its powers. Secession is real. It's real.
Amen, brother, preach it, as the Southern Baptists proudly say. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm trying to get the share screen back up. Sorry, I'm messing up. Here's Peter Schiff. China wants back its currency with gold while the dollar is backed by nothing. That's checkmate. Game over. Well, I'll play it, Peter. Come on, Peter.
So everything seems to have changed. I think, by the way, do you know, and I think you mentioned this to Tucker, where it really was put on steroids was when the Ukraine war started and Europe and the United States went heavy into castigation of Russia. And Russia somehow survived that. And you tell me, maybe I don't know this business as well as you do, but I think the rest of the world may have recognized and said, oh, maybe we can do that too. Maybe we should do that because of the weaponization of the dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. And I criticized the Biden administration for that specific reason the minute it did that. Trump has made it worse, not only with threats to invade Greenland, which he's walked back, but also more threats of sanctions. But also, I think what made a big difference was when Trump ran for election this time, there was a lot of talk about getting our fiscal house in order. Elon Musk was going to come to Washington with Doge, and we were going to cut trillions of dollars out of the federal budget, and we were going to get a handle on the runaway debt. So there was some optimism that maybe, this would happen. Now, I never believed that. I was telling my clients and my audience that it was all BS. And of course, I was right, because they ran Elon Musk out of town. So very little was cut. But what did happen was the big, beautiful bill, which increased government spending, reduced taxes, and widened the deficits that were inherited from Biden. So Trump made the problem worse, but more important, he let the world know that there is no hope of America ever, getting a handle on this debt, because neither party wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. And so the only choice is to get out. That's why the world has been buying gold. That's why central banks are buying gold. They want out of the dollar. And that's why China is looking to give the world an alternative. What China should do is what we did initially, is back the RMB with gold. They should say that the RMB is better than the dollar because the dollar is backed by nothing and our currency is backed by gold. And they should do that and make it convertible. And then what they should do is they should sever the tie between the Hong Kong dollar and the US dollar. And they should peg the Hong Kong dollar to the RMB and peg the RMB to gold. I mean, that's checkmate. The game is over. And, China has all the production. They've got all the factories. They've got all the exports. They've got the savings. They can have the reserve currency. Now, maybe they won't get the whole world, right? Maybe some countries will still hang on to the dollar for a while, but they will eat into our monopoly substantially. And that is going to be a huge problem for the United States.
Well, if you hear anybody talking about competing with China, it's the whole Great Reset. We are in the middle of the Great Reset. And if you read the book on the Great Reset that Schwab wrote, it talks about that. Who's going to be the winner, China or the United States, these United States? Yeah, so that's why if you ever hear the China thing, that's their thing. They're trying to pin the two against it to see who's coming. Technically, China's won because it's communism, and we got communism. It's two communist groups going after each other. So don't get anybody else. Again, it's all bad. Here's Dr. Marshall retweeting Christian Patriots in Motion because of the Texas lawmakers move closer to mandating Bible readings in public schools. Federalism works. As I told many of the guys that go for it, that's patriotism right there. your home country, Texas, your home country of Georgia, your home country of New Hampshire. Now, the thing about this is great. Okay, Texas lawmakers moving close to mandating Bible readings in public schools. Cool. Texas wants to do that. Texas can do that. That's federalism right there. Now, you guys in Texas got to figure out what Bible version you guys want to do. I mean, you Catholics are going to be for the KJV. You guys are going to be cool with the KJV. Maybe some Catholics don't care because they don't send their kids to schools, to state-run schools. Okay, well that's cool, but then guess what? You're still in your state, and you're letting the Protestant groups teach kids all over the place. What are you doing to help out? So you should be fighting to try to get the Dewey Rames, or at least trying to convert everyone in your state. You want a Catholic state, Catholic confessional state? There you go. Work on your own state. Make your state Catholic. Have your state consecrated to the Sacred Heart. Get your bishop in your state to consecrate your state to the Immaculate and Sacred Hearts, and then worry about getting your governor. Become governor if you're in that state, and then pull a Garcia Moreno. Do exactly what Moreno did. You can do anything you want as a governor. It's when you become president, you have almost nothing. The shackles are on you, but these days and age, it's all like the king. Antiwar.com, Trump again bypasses Congress to advance major weapons package for Israel because, Congress has the purse, but who cares? When you're the king, it's good to be king. Speaking of that, let's get into war pays. Generals thinking in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Reconstruction. U.S. attack will bring regional war. Top U.S. Israeli generals hold meeting at the Pentagon. Trump bypasses Congress to send arms to Israel. Israel forces Doctors Without Borders to end Gaza operations. Israeli strikes kill scores of Palestinians in Gaza. No one cares over here. If you kill somebody in Gaza, forget about it. U.S. bombs Somalia 25 times in January. They almost bombed every day in January. U.S. expands military base in Kenya as it escalates in Somalia. 25 times in January. How many people, show of hands, by a round of applause, how many people heard that, Dave just had a daughter? Yes. I didn't know he was a Catholic dude until about a couple of months ago. How many people knew that we were bombing Somalia 25 times? Israeli drone strikes kill one in South Lebanon. Turkey blocks aid convoy from reaching Syria's Kobane. Trump says U.S. starting to talk to Cuba. U.S. envoy arrives in Venezuela to reopen mission after 7 years. Americans want us, Russia to extend. Americans want U.S. Russia to extend New START. Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez announces prisoner amnesty. Chevron beats profit estimates as it commits to Venezuela. In Iran's president says Trump, Netanyahu, and EU stirred tensions during protests. Meet the former fashion blogger. No, I don't care. Here's a Rubio. Iran has no business to be so close to our military bases in the Persian Gulf. Gerald Salante. Where's Iran supposed to go? It's that old joke. He did the meme. Can't believe that Iran built their country so close to the U.S. bases. I can't believe they actually said that. They have no business to be so close to our military bases in the Persian Gulf. This guy's nuts. They're all nuts. Yeah, let's play MTG. Marjorie the Gathering, MTG, talking about how MAGA is a lie.
To afford life. That whole generation, they probably won't be able to buy a house. They can't afford health insurance. They can't afford car insurance. Most of their jobs are going to be replaced by AI. Like that's the stuff I care about. But after we won the election in 2024, a few months in, and MAGA started turning into MAGA. And it started turning into whatever country Donald Trump said it was about. And here we're sitting here today, and you and I are having a discussion, and the president put out on his Truth Social yesterday that he's got a giant fleet going over to Iran because of the protesters over there. Well, I'm sorry, we've got civil war practically breaking out in Minnesota. Can we not care about that, and care about the fraud and care about all these issues here in America? So, no, MAGA is the 250th anniversary and are donating to the big ballroom. And if they're donating to all these things, those are the people that get the special favors, they get the government contracts, they get the pardons, or somebody they love or one of their friends gets a pardon. And it's the foreign countries that are running the show here. It's the major big corporations and what is best for the world. That's really what MAGA is. That's the results. That's what we're seeing after one full year of MAGA. We are seeing war on behalf of Israel. We are seeing the people in Gaza, innocent people in Gaza, hundreds of thousands of them completely murdered so that they can build some new real estate development and money can pour in and everybody can get rich there in the new Gaza. And we're seeing a whole plan play out, which is really a new world order. It's a new way of doing business. And that's it's kind of like the Scooby-Doo meme where, they pull the mask off the bad guy. Well, the mask is being pulled off, and Make America Great Again isn't really about America or the American people. It's not about the American people.
I need MTG to start preaching on national divorce again. She was awesome when she would bring that up. Making rounds. Here's Dave DeCamp, affirmation from Warpigs, antiwar.com. AFRICOM told me today that it launched 26 airstrikes in Somalia so far this year. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Dave. Thanks for submitting your request. To date, we have conducted a total of 26 strikes in Somalia. Respectfully, public affairs. As he said, isn't it crazy you haven't heard about this at all? I'm not going to start wars. We'll stop them. After weeks of saber rattling, Washington is signaling restraint on Iran. Mediation efforts reportedly involving Russia coincide with a pause in U.S. strike planning and a renewed opening for diplomacy. Did Moscow just help buy Tehran time to cut a deal with Washington? Here's the deal. It's literally what it says right here in the story. Amazon shuts down controversial payment method. Remember the payment by the palm type deal? Those little screens at Whole Foods checkout where you can pay by scanning your palm, like tech from sci-fi or a spy movie. The service is called Amazon One, and it's going away. Good. St. Dean debuts vein recognition production line. This is China Daily, by the way. Chinese biometric tech firm St. Dean has launched its first dedicated vein recognition manufacturing line. Marketing, if you don't realize, we're in the technocracy part of the program. A step towards large-scale commercialization of a tech that industry experts could say reshaped the digital identity verification industry. The product line, located in Hunan in East China's Anhui province, is designed to produce up to 2 million vein recognition modules and authentication devices annually, targeting applications ranging from consumer electronics and payments to vehicles and smart infrastructure, the company said. New factory spans about 10,000 square meters, blah, blah, blah. Includes a clean room, production, doggy room, pet room, all that stuff. Vein recognition, which identifies individuals by analyzing patterns of veins beneath the skin. Those are gigantic M spaces, is gaining attention as governments and companies seek more secure alternatives to passwords, fingerprints, and facial rec, which have become increasingly vulnerable to spoofing and AI-generated forgeries. By the way, did you see the commercial for? Apparently, they're launching the Super Bowl commercials before the Super Bowl. There's a Jurassic Park one where it's for Infinity. And what happens? Remember the scene when everything goes haywire? It's at the beginning, the middle, and Samuel L. Jackson turns around and goes, "I can't get it online." it cuts to the Intel guy. He ends up, all you gotta do is have one of these, poop, pop on, and everything goes back up. So they redid that AI version, got all the characters in it, and redid the rest of the movie in like 2.5 minutes. And by the way, apparently the Super Bowl commercials come out before the Super Bowl. Vein recognition offers what other biometric technologies struggle to generate. It is internal, live, and extremely difficult to replicate, says the CEO of Sandeem. With this production line, the company is shifting from an R&D driven model to a new stage driven by the dual engines of R&D and manufacturing. For Sandeem, which has spent 15 years developing vein recognition algorithms, hardware, and software platforms, the plant is intended as a springboard for wider global adoption. Don't worry, it'll be here pretty quick. We're trying to get, digital ID, the SAVE Act. Excuse me. The SAVE Act, and that's all that is just a little get the camel's nose underneath to get the digital ID 2020, all that stuff to come in. Hamas says ready to transfer Gaza governance to Palestinian Technocratic Committee. Hamas is ready to complete transfer of governments to Technocratic Committee in the Gaza Strip. A spokesman for the militant group told AFP on Wednesday, adding that the crucial Rafah border crossing with Egypt must be open in both directions without any Israeli obstacles. A swarm of over 30 earthquakes strike near San Ramon, strongest being 4.2. I think it's closer, isn't it, in San Francisco area? Venezuelan lawmakers vote to ease state grip on oil, abandoning a key socialist tenet. So now it's privatized oil, which again, it goes to whatever company that DJT got to bring in there. Here is the 10th Amendment Center. The Trump administration is radically anti-Second Amendment. Janine Pirro, wasn't she Judge Janine or something like that? Quote, if you bring a gun into the district of criminals, you mark my words, you're going to jail. I don't care if you have a license in another district, and I don't care if you're a law-abiding law owner somewhere else. You bring a gun in this district, count on going to jail, and hope you get the gun back. And that makes all the difference. All those crazy. Do I have to say? I don't have to say anything to that. You can make your own mind up on what that woman just said. In LifeSite News, which used to do life issues, but never do anymore. I never see an abortion or pro-life article in there much more anymore. Anyway, Pope Leo's encyclical on AI will soon be reviewed by Cardinal Fernandez. Report. Themes of Leo XIV's upcoming first encyclical will reportedly include AI, transhumanism, and gender ideology. It'd be interesting to see about the AI and transhumanism part. Here's AI just replaced realtors. Let's see if I can play this. I haven't sent this to any of my realtor friends yet. This is only in Florida.
I am excited. I love the backyard. That was a big selling point for me.
DJ is a first-time home buyer, but he didn't go the traditional route with a realtor. He used an AI platform called Homa to find and purchase a $420,000 house in Tampa, Florida.
I saved about 2.5% in commission. So that's $10,500. Which I'm going to use for other things around the house.
Rather than signing with a realtor, Homa allows buyers to use AI to search MLS listings for the criteria they want in a home.
When you want to schedule a tour, we have a network of agents that get you into the home. We pay them a certain fee hourly to do that.
When a buyer wants to make an offer, Homa offers AI-generated pricing analysis using data like how long a home's been on the market and comparable sales. But Homa also offers a human broker to help navigate the process.
We have our own human broker that reviews the offer for you, negotiates with the seller side for you, that reviews the contract, and then helps you also through closing and negotiating with title and escrow and lenders.
Aiming to save buyers time and money.
For example, on a $500,000 home, the commission, like a 3% commission, would be about $15,000. That's what a seller would pay the buyer's agent. We capture that because we act as the agent. And then during closing, we rebate all of that back to the buyer, less our $2,000 fee.
Critics say home buyers may miss out on the benefit of a realtor's knowledge of a neighborhood and experience negotiating.
That's why we actually have a human expert that helps review every offer, discuss offer strategy, go over the offer pricing, because every home is different.
They kind of walk you pretty much through step by step. They have a checklist of what you're going to go through.
Now, Homa is only available in Florida right now, but they plan to expand to Texas and other states soon.
All right. Here's Scott Bissett, former George Soros right-hand man and guy that lives just like Pete Buttigieg, but he wears a red hat, so it's cool. Just announced that the IRS is launching massive audits of financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds. As Catherine Austin Fitz says, how about an audit of the New York Fed as to where the $21 trillion your agency is missing went? Exactly. Again, all these guys going to say Minnesota over there, look over there, look over there, look over there, look over there. These guys, they've been talking about 21 trillion missing in the IRS for the New York Fed, the pentagram, all that stuff. Remember, they called for an audit of the pentagram. The next day, 9/11 hits. Every time they bring up something like this, something happens. Mobile phones users in Vietnam who fail to verify their subscriber information through biometric authentication will soon face one-way service suspension, according to a new government regulation set to take effect on March 1st, 2026. Here is Senator Eric Schmidt. The 14th Amendment Citizen Clause was never meant to grant citizenship to children of illegal aliens, tourists, or foreign students. Correct. The drafters said it so explicitly the courts ignore them. For our national sovereignty, security, and Constitution, I filed this brief. Good. Here's what's happening. Trump issued an executive order clarifying that the Constitution doesn't grant automatic citizenship to the children of illegal aliens. Activist judges block it. Now it's up to SCOTUS. ICE buys warehouses for mass detention network. 1 million square foot detention center. Trump administration is acquiring industrial warehouses in at least 8 states to establish a large scale immigrant detention network that after they get done with the immigrants, they'll come after people like us. Deed records confirmed 2 purchases this month, an 826,000 square foot building in Williamsport, Maryland for $102 million and a 418,000 square foot warehouse in surprise, Arizona for $70 million. Both facilities are expected to accept detainees by April following renovations. Are they going to put a condo in that thing? This is good. I'll play him. I agree with this guy too. I'm shocked. I know you're shocked.
Liberals hate ICE because they think it's about border policy. It's not why I hate ICE. I hate ICE because while we were all arguing about politics, they were importing the software from Gaza's genocide. I'm talking about a company called Paragon Solutions. They make a spyware called Graphite that was used to track and target Palestinians in real time. They took that exact same technology, rebranded it as Immigration OS, and then sold it to ICE to use on us. This is no longer about stopping illegal immigrants. This is about creating a digital prison for every American citizen. They're using the same digital twin technology that mapped every single person, car, and building in Gaza to create a live, real-time map of your neighborhood, your phone, your car, you. The goal has never been about security. The goal is total control. And this is the foundational system for the New World Order. It's the beast system everyone talks about, but it's not a prophecy, it's a product. It's already here. They tested it on Gaza. They saw how perfectly the AI could automate targeting, how it could remove human conscience from the equation and just follow the code. They saw that it worked. Now they're rolling it out on us. So don't talk to me about left or right. It's bullshit.
I forgot they dropped that in there. My bad. But yes, 100% with him. I was trying to think. I think there was something he says in there. Sickening. Amon Bundy slams ISIS major schism, tears apart right-wing militants. Did I say that right? Amon Bundy? Amon Bundy is the most famous right-wing militant in America not long ago as he led two armed... Oh, yeah, they had the Bundy rage against the BLM, yes. Against federal agents in his family's Nevada ranch and an Oregon bird sanctuary. But his outspoken criticism of Trump has made him an outcast in his own community. Federal agents in Minneapolis will now wear body cameras, Noam says. I didn't know they didn't wear body cams to begin with. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but the one guy was holding a camera while holding a cell phone, or while holding his gun and going, what, don't you have a body cam? Rand Paul eviscerates Trump administration, lies on Alex Paredes shooting, terrible judgment. And I think this one, no, it was another one I was supposed to have. I thought the court case, there was some, the ME came out. Maybe I have it somewhere else. The ME came out saying it was murder. Medical examiner, if you're not scoring at home. Church of England exorcisms marked return to mysticism. I don't know how that happens. Now, who knew there are Church of England exorcists? I didn't know. Anybody know? Did Church of England even know? Yeah, they how does that happen? It's pretend thing. Telegraph investigation has revealed that a 2025 in Norfolk NHS hospice, Priscilla Bacon Lodge, wrote to the local Church of England Deliverance Ministry requesting help with paranormal incidents at the site. Minister was duly dispatched to anoint staff and bless the premises. I haven't read it. Here. In Italy, church and state investigate the appearance of a cherub seemingly modeled on Meloni. Restored painting of an angel that resembles Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni on the wall of the chapel in the center of Rome has left some giggling and others up in arms. Savannah Guthrie set to pull out the hosting Winter Olympics opening ceremony as Mom Nancy remains missing. If you don't know what's going on, the Winter Olympics is starting up this week, I think. Sometime this week. I think it's this week, maybe today. I don't know. There it is. This week, Olympics taking place from February 6th. Yeah, so Friday to February 22nd in Milan. Common sleep, speaking of Olympics, common sleep aid used by millions actually worsens sleep quality, study finds. Millions of people rely on sleep aid, blah, blah, blah. What are we going back to here? Missions found that healthy adults who listen to pink noise, deep and steady sounds similar to rainfall, lost 19 minutes of sleep in a crucial part of the cycle. Pink noise, like the popular white noise, is a type of broadband noise characterized by continuous, uniform, and static-like signals spanning the wide range of audible frequencies. Never heard of it. Apparently, people use noise machines to fall asleep. 3 million hours of white noise are streamed daily to Spotify alone, with top YouTube noise videos generating over 700 million views. I got to get it in the white noise. What? To do disrupting sleep, deep sleep, the period of sleep signal associated with higher rates of depression, Parkinson's disease, and loss of productivity. Here's local weather. It goes into the little bit of the storm here. Mixed reactions from parents after CMS other districts cancel school on Monday. That is today. So school districts are adjusting my snowboard. I could do that out here if I had a snowboard. Adjusting plans on Monday. Cabarrus counties will be virtual. All that canceled. People are upset because of it's going. I drove some of the side roads. Yeah, they looked like that. The main roads look good. The side, the tertiary, and other roads, horrific. This was up in Huntersville if you're going to the Mooresville TLM, that's on the way. The NBC station in Charlotte reports that highway patrollers responded to a 100-car pileup on I-85 in Kannapolis. I'm sorry, there was another one this was a different one. There was another one going up 77 near Mooresville, between the Dale Earnhardt Boulevard exit and Lane Street. Meteorologist Dave Aiken, and it was funny because they were trying to show it on regular TV and they were nowhere near this 100-car pileup. Here's a truck, a train. I'm not too far from where that happened, but yeah, it got stuck in the middle. Thankfully, the guy got out of the train. Not a train, out of the truck. The train was left okay, but the guy that was on the semi, he got out, thankfully. Here's a little idea of how much we got. They were saying Raleigh, which is right in this area, was going to get 20-something inches. They didn't get any like that. We got 8 to 12. Up here, that's where, up there, Huntersville, Mooresville, all that area, 12 plus inches. Obviously, the mountains got hammered pretty good. We got 8 to 12 easily, yeah. Here's the French Broad River in Asheville, completely frozen over. Global warming, remember? This is fun. In Florida, a Florida man made a blanket of frozen iguanas as record cold dipped into Sunshine State. And it says more than 1,000 of the invasive reptiles were turned in on Sunday alone. That's why I made the iguana thing, because I thought this was funny as anything. It's so cold in Florida right now that all these iguanas are falling out of trees. There's Florida just triggered the iguana massacre, frozen reptiles everywhere after officials put a bounty on their heads. South Florida is freezing and the iguanas are locking up. They started dropping out of trees, frozen solid, barely moving. This guy scoops them up by the armful. 68 iguanas in one day, bagged, counted, and stacked in the truck like a full-blown cleanup operation. And here's the part everyone forgot. 4 years ago, officials in Miami were so fed up with the invasion that they were openly talked about putting a cash bounty on their heads. The city already burned $50,000 in 2021 for iguana removal, then cranked up to $200,000. There's no active bounty right now, as officials only floated the idea years ago. I'll play him there.
He's not dead one bit. Look, he's moving in slow motion. Just bag him up and see how many we got. And by the way, we're putting them in the bags gently. We're going to treat these animals with respect as they're living, breathing creatures. And we have tons of bags. Number 14 is moving a little bit. 20 and 21. 27, bag 1. 36, 39. Number 40 in the bag. Numero 50. 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68. 68 iguanas and a handful of Cuban nanols. Stay tuned for tomorrow to get more iguanas.
That would be fun to do. Again, it's Clown Planet in a sense. You gotta have some fun with some things. Here's again, thousands of iguanas paralyzed in the cold by South Florida. Temporarily, people are allowed to capture and bring them to the FWC as the invasive of reptiles pose environmental and economic risks. So when it gets too cold, their muscles become paralyzed and they just fall out of the sky, fall out of the trees. In the Epstein section of the program, Clintons capitulate on House Epstein inquiry, agreeing to testify. Play some rage. Former President Slick Willie Clinton and Hill Dog, the ex-Secretary of State, agreed to the dispositions as they long resisted days before the House was to vote to hold them in contempt. Lutnick 2, new Epstein files reveal trip to Pedo Island after he said he cut ties. Now apparently the Pope is for the first for a period of time. This is Megatron. Megatron's a very hardcore GOP guy. For a period of time, Epstein, that's what they say, lived in the Vatican with JP2, the assistant said. So what? As readers said, the purported email claiming Epstein lived in the Vatican with JP2 is dated 2015 after the Pope's death 10 years earlier. No evidence supports Epstein residing there beyond 2003 visit, between the 2003 visit that everyone uses for a papal announcement. I think that Homer Simpson is even in the Epstein files of these things. Here's Dave DeCamp. Bannon told Epstein that he got John Bolton his job for the first Trump administration. Here's Glenn Beck he says, I'm in the Epstein files. Let me explain, because it was in this email right here. I just Googled where I'm headed right now to meet some old friends. It just occurred to me that a new friend and fellow eccentric is right around the corner from where I'm visiting. I might be able to stop and say hello to if you're around for later this afternoon. Would it be a quick visit? But would be a welcome respite from the Fox News Glenn Beck disciples I'm visiting today. So because of that, everyone was saying Glenn's in the files. And as Caitlin Johnson said, Epstein documents had been confirming for months that he was clearly and undeniably an Israeli intelligence operative. So naturally, the Western media are running with the story that he worked for Vladimir Putin. My 2 cents, think about it. They say 3 million documents got put up, was it Friday or Saturday? It was thousands of hours of video. How many people read 3 million pages? How many people read 3,000 pages? How many people read 300 pages? Now all of a sudden, everyone read 3 million pages. When I first heard this thing got dropped and they said 3 million new stuff came out, I'm going, they just made up some stuff. You know how big, how large is 3 million pounds? How many? What's this book right here? This is 150, 500 pages right there, 500 sheets. When you get a sheet over, you go to Office Depot or something, 500 sheets, that big. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. How many sheets is 3 million sheets? You're talking, I think a priest friend mentioned it, goes, you needed like 10,000 people to read this stuff all over and over. And I'm all for getting the Epstein stuff out there. I know one thing's for certain, a couple things certain of this. Nobody's going to jail. It's major distraction. Nothing's going to happen. Because remember, the Franklin cover-up is still went on, and nobody went to jail over that thing. Yes, and as Mark says, some of the videos and pictures are very disturbing. I bet they are. I bet there's some truth in a lot of what is in there, and I bet a lot of it's just made up stuff. I don't know. I don't trust the government one bit to say, oh yeah, here's what we had. And then obviously, if that is true, where's the arrest going to happen? Ain't nobody going to be in jail. Ain't nobody getting arrested. And they just make up stuff. Like Epstein lived in the Vatican. What? Where did that come from? He pulled out stuff from left field. AI generated stuff. I mean, who knows? There's no way to verify any of this stuff's real. They'll tell you it's real. Who knows? Again, there might be some truth thrown in with all this other nonsense in there. But again, I'm doing until they throw people in jail over this, I don't believe one bit of it. It's red meat for a lot of people. Check it, to read it. Ain't nobody read 3 million pages of it. No, what was the first drop? 20,000? It was like zip files. It was huge. Now 3 million? No, yeah, whatever. It's like when they say that you need discovery at law places and they drop 90 boxes of stuff to go through. Ain't nobody went through all this stuff. I get, Mark says AI can scan it and find connections. I guess. I mean, yeah, but then you gotta trust what the stuff that they put in is real. It's 3 million pages. Ain't nobody got 3 million pages on anything. I don't think the New York Yankees have 3 million pages written up on their entire history. And font 24 or 48. My 2 cents on that. Call me crazy. That's fine. There's I can't even spell this. This week. Still can't spell this week. Backspace. This week in history. 1887. Oh, yeah, I forgot it's Groundhog Day. Yeah, the rodent tells everybody if it's going to be 6 weeks or more winter or 6 weeks less. Groundhog Day is celebrated for the first time. And this day in 1887, a group of Pennsylvanians searched for a rodent to predict the weather. They found a groundhog who saw a shadow, which meant 6 more weeks of winter were imminent. If it hadn't, that would mean spring was approaching. Groundhog's Day roots trace back to the Christian holiday of Candlemas, a holiday dating back to the 4th century, which was also based around predicting the weather. I've never heard Candlemas predicting the weather. 2014, Philip Seymour Hoffman died of a heroin overdose in New York City. New York City. Yeah, I know we ain't said New York City in quite some time. South African President F.W. de Klerk was released from prison, or was it lifted the 30-year ban on African National Congress, resulting in Mandela's release from prison. 1980, the FBI's undercover criminal organization known as AppScam was released to the public. 1979, Sid Vicious of the British band the Sex Pistols, known for his rebellious nihilist persona and his impact on punk rock, died of a drug overdose in New York City. New York City, yep, back in New York City, I'm catching up. 1971, Idi Amin declared himself president of Uganda. Known as the Butcher of Uganda, Amin was responsible for the deaths of almost everybody in Uganda, and he expelled all Asians from the country. 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad and World War II ended with the surrender of German troops to the Soviets. 1927, jazz saxophonist Stan Getz, known for his unique sound, was born in Philadelphia. 1912, Frederick Rodman Law performed what is considered the first motion picture stunt, parachuting from the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. Where? In New York City. New York City. Yeah, New York City. 1905, Ayn Rand was born in St. Petersburg, Russia. 1876, the National League, the oldest existing major league professional baseball organization in these United States, began playing National League professional baseball clubs. And why would they have the LA Dodgers? Because LA wasn't even near that. Brooklyn would have been the first team, and then still that wasn't until the 1900s. 1848, the United States and Mexico signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ended the Mexican-American War. According to the terms of the treaty, Mexico would cede for $15 million nearly all the territory of present-day New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, California, Texas, and Western Colorado. If you know anything about that, too, we look up the San Patricios Battalion, who was a bunch of Catholics involved. No, was that? No, that was the War of 1912. I'm sorry. Forgive me. That was different. Mexico-American War, Lee was involved in that. He was big into there. 1653, New Amsterdam, New York City, now 4 times, was incorporated as a city. The bustling metropolis is the largest city in these United States. Hello and good night. Yes. Anyway, have a great rest of the night, ladies and gents. Thank you for sticking with me today. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz beneath. I got plenty of sermons coming up for today's feast days, Feast of the Purification. Check them out. Obviously, the usual suspects coming out the rest of the week. God love you. See you on Wednesday on Hump Day, and thank you.